I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. I'm continuing now in Alma. We've been reading about the missionary work of the sons of Mosiah and their brethren down among the Lamanites. They've been having great success. Lamoni and his father are both converted, declaring religious liberty, and they are able to go around and preach for many years. Now we are returning to the story in Zarahemla with Alma himself as the chief judge. Remember that a number of years have passed in the reign of the judges. So here we go. We are going to pick this up in chapter 2. Now it's a little bit long, so for this video I'm going to read verses 1 through 20. Amlici seeks to be king and is rejected by the voice of the people. His followers make him king. The Amlicites make war on the Nephites and are defeated. The Lamanites and Amlicites join forces and are defeated. Alma slays Amlici. And it came to pass in the commencement of the 5th year of their reign, there began to be a contention among the people, for a certain man being called Amlici, he being a very cunning man, yea, wise man as to the wisdom of the world, he being after the order of the man that slew Gideon by the sword, who was executed according to the law. Now this Amlici had, by his cunning, drawn away much people after him, even so much that they began to be very powerful. And they began to endeavor to establish Amlici to be a king over the people. Now this was alarming to the people of the church, and also to all those who had not been drawn away after the persuasions of Amlici. For they knew that according to their law, that such things must be established by the voice of the people. Therefore, if it were possible that Amlici should gain the voice of the people, he, being a wicked man, would deprive them of their rights and privileges of the church. For it was his intent to destroy the church of God. And it came to pass that the people assembled themselves together throughout all the land, every man according to his mind, whether it were for or against Amlici, in separate bodies, having much dispute and wonderful contentions one with another. And thus they did assemble themselves together to cast in their voices concerning the matter, and they were laid before the judges. And it came to pass that the voice of the people came against Amlici, that he was not made king over the people. Now this did cause much joy in the hearts of those who were against him, but Amlici did stir up those who were in his favor to anger against those who were not in his favor. And it came to pass that they did gather themselves together and did consecrate Amlici to be their king. Now when Amlici was made king over them, he commanded them that they should take up arms against their brethren, and this he did that he might subject them to him. Now the people of Amlici were distinguished by the name of Amlici, being called Amlicites. And the remainder were called Nephites, or the people of God. Therefore the people of the Nephites were aware of the intent of the Amlicites, and therefore they did prepare to meet them. Yea, they did arm themselves with swords, and with scimitars, and with bows, and with arrows, and with stones, and with slings, and with all manner of weapons of war of every kind. And thus they were prepared to meet the Amlicites at the time of their coming, and there were appointed captains, and higher captains, and chief captains according to their numbers. And it came to pass that Amlici did arm his men with all manner of weapons of war of every kind, and he also appointed rulers and leaders over his people, to lead them to war against their brethren. And it came to pass that the Amlicites came upon the hill Amnihu, which was east of the river Sidon, which ran by the land Zarahemla, and there they began to make war with the Nephites. Now Alma, being the chief judge and the governor of the people of Nephi, therefore he went up with his people, yea, with his captains and chief captains, yea, at the head of his armies against the Amlicites to battle. And they began to slay the Amlicites upon the hill east of Sidon. And the Amlicites did contend with the Nephites with great strength, insomuch that many of the Nephites did fall before the Amlicites. Nevertheless, the Lord did strengthen the hand of the Nephites, that they slew the Amlicites with great slaughter, that they began to flee before them. And it came to pass that the Nephites did pursue the Amlicites all that day, and did slay them with much slaughter, insomuch that they were slain of the Amlicites 12,532 souls. And there were slain of the Nephites 6,562 souls. And it came to pass that when Alma could pursue the Amlicites no longer, he caused that his people should pitch their tents in the valley of Gideon, the valley being called after that Gideon who was slain by the hand of Nehor with the sword. And in this valley the Nephites did pitch their tents for the night. This story of the Amlicites is the first direct account we have of contention and dissension among the Nephites. It's hinted at, it's alluded to, but this is the first time we see, well, other than with the people of Limhi earlier, but in the land of Zarahemla, this is the first time that we get a detailed account of one group of Nephites fighting against another. And you'll note that when they separate themselves out and they appoint Amlici to be their king, they are no longer called Nephites. They have separated themselves and they become Amlicites. And this happens a lot. When you separate the people out, they become a different people. They are no longer identified with the main group. But you'll note also here that this is a common thing in the modern day. People seeking for power, others worried about losing their rights, losing their freedom. And the vote coming out honestly reminds me a lot of what's going on today right now, although I'm not going to talk about that too much right now. But let us consider Amlici himself for just a minute. This is in the 5th year of the reign of the judges. This guy has been around for a while. He's after the order of Nehor, the man who slew Gideon. So Nehor's doctrine is still influencing things, and we'll see this. Nehor's doctrine influences things for many, many years. But Amlici was probably planning this for a number of years. This is not something, he didn't just go out one summer and collect up an army of thousands. No. Just as Nehor had been preaching for many years and had been setting up his rival church to the Church of God, Amlici may have been a direct disciple of Nehor. And after Nehor is executed, Amlici starts his work to go in and draw the people to him. He says he wants to destroy the Church of God. Maybe he's seeking to destroy the Church of God because of Nehor's execution. That's all speculation, of course. But it's obvious that Amlici has been a player in the public arena for some time before this rebellion takes place. In the 5th year, we have the vote coming that he puts himself out there as a candidate to be king. And the people all gather together in their local areas. Each town has their own meeting and they cast in their votes. And Amlici has representatives in each town to argue the case. But it comes against him, and the people reject him as king. And that's when he starts his rebellion. But it's almost certain that this was a number of years in the works, that Amlici was drawing people away from him and creating this division among the people. It said in chapter 1 that there were no more contentions until the 5th year. But almost certainly Amlici during these years was out there actively recruiting, and then he starts the contentions. In some ways, this is me speculating again, I think Amlici was a kind of a nobleman under King Mosiah before the time of the judges. He was of a higher ranking class in society. And when the judges take over, he wasn't elected to be a judge, and he probably took that as an insult. And then his mentor, his leader, Nehor, is executed. He's got a lot of resentment, not only to the Nephites, but specifically to the church. Anyways, I'm done speculating. We'll finish this chapter in the next video. I'll see you there.